Hello, 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 my little maniacs. This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming, coming back at ya with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing the first of hopefully many videos where I'm going to be doing a preview of the Commanders versus Buccaneers game, which is going to be hosted at Tampa Bay by my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this photo is actually taken from the Buccaneers social media page on Twitter. Go ahead and check that out. If you guys want to get them credit, there it is. Anyway, guys, we're going to get right into this. Obviously, going forward, I'm going to be doing more of reacting to past week's games, like how they had been doing. Obviously, where this is the first game of the season, I can't do that as much. So obviously, going forward, that'll be starting it. But for this one, we'll just have game details. So the game's going to be played at 4:25 today, Eastern Time. It's going to be in Tampa Bay, Florida, so obviously that heat is going to be a major factor in the game. Obviously, the Bucs are going to be wearing their white uniforms, as shown in this graphic that I have. Then important information for this game before we get into it are important injuries. So for the Buccaneers, Kalijah Kancey and Logan Hall have both been ruled out. And then for the Commanders, Marcus Mariota, who was rumored to be QB1 until he got hurt in the preseason, who is now placed on IR, was ruled out. And Drazon Newton is listed as doubtful. Not certain if he has played yet. I do not believe I haven't seen the inactives yet. I know they came out shortly ago, but I have not seen them yet. So the biggest question marks for this game, I've got three for each side for the Buccaneers. We'll start with the Buccaneers. So the first one I have is run game / O-line. I just chose to lump this together because this is honestly, in my opinion, these go hand in hand. So obviously one of the biggest question marks for the Buccaneers is that run game. They had arguably the worst run game in the entire league last year. So to help build on that, they went ahead and they upgraded the O-line. They've traded in Robert Hainsey at center for Graham Barton, who has been an absolute stud in the preseason. So hopefully he can help boost that run game, as well as we also got some change of pace backs in Bucky Irvin. Hopefully he can be a good complement to Rachaad White as he enters year 3 now. Does Rashad. But obviously this is going to be one of the main points of this offense. We're going to have to be able to do that because if we can't get the run game going, we're not going to be able to get play action going or the RPOs. We're not going to be able to do any of that Liam Cohen likes to run in the offense. And then obviously the O-line is also going to be very important because we've got to keep Baker Mayfield upright so he can make the plays down the field in order to be able to extend the drives and be able to make the plays and get in the end zone and get the touchdowns. And then another big question mark, both these other ones are on the defensive side for the Buccaneers. So obviously one of the bigger ones is secondary because our secondary last year was not the greatest at times, and we have actually revamped that secondary a little bit. We traded Ryan Neal to bring back old friend Jordan Whitehead. Mr. Jordan, welcome back. And we also traded away Carlton Davis as he was unable to stay healthy and just carried too much of a cap hit. So now we are expecting Zion McCollum and or Christian Eisen, who I believe is currently backup strong safety and backup nickel corner, as well as we have Tyke Smith, who we drafted to be able to play the nickel corner. So we're going to be expecting those guys, and obviously Jamel Dean to keep up the secondary to hopefully be able to cover and keep us in the game on defense and be able to slow down offenses going forward. And then obviously another big question is pass rush. The Buccaneers' pass rush last year was not the greatest. Our biggest threat to pass rush was in fact Yaya Diaby, which luckily he got healed up from his preseason injury, and he's going to be able to play this game. Obviously, not having Kalijah Kancey or Logan Hall is going to hurt, but that's going to open up time for Chris Braswell to hopefully get some starting reps as a rookie, as well as JTS to hopefully convince us that he needs to sign a next contract. But pass rush is obviously going to be very important. As you know, third and longs, we're going to need to be able to get to the quarterback to be able to prevent those third and longs from becoming first down or fourth and short that they're going to want to go for it on the opposite side of the field. Because we saw it many times last year where the Buccaneers were in those third and long situations, and then the pass rush just wasn't able to get home, and we gave up a big gain for a first down. As for the Commanders, this one might be a little cheeky, yeah, I'll admit, but Jayden Daniels obviously the biggest question mark. We have not seen him play in an actual NFL game that is meaningful. So obviously he's going to have a tough test here against the Buccaneers defense, led by, Vita Vea, Levante David, Antoine Winfield Jr. in the secondary. This is going to be a true test for him. And it's again, a lot of this is going to rely on him. If he can be able to make some plays to be able to go out there and hopefully try to, and obviously he's going to try to win the game. Obviously I don't want him to try to win the game, but he's going to be trying to win the game for the Commanders. But obviously if you're a Commanders fan, I think at this point you just kind of want him to show flashes that he can be that franchise guy. And then the second biggest question mark I have for the Commanders is obviously their defense. Their defense was not great last year. They were led in sacks by a guy who was not even on the team to end the year. That just shows you how bad their defense was last year. Obviously, they revamped that with I believe Frankie Louvu. They also got Bobby Wagner. So they went ahead and they tried to revamp that defense. So obviously that defense is going to be very important, especially against a high-powered Bucs offense with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin leading the receiver room. And then the last big question mark I have is the wide receiver, because outside of Terry McLaurin, they don't really have a whole lot of anyone there. They're going to be relying a lot on Luke McCaffrey, the younger brother of Christian McCaffrey, to be able to step up there, hopefully. And then obviously Scary Terry's going to he's going to always be a threat. So that's going to be another big question mark, is who can Jaden Daniels rely on to be a good pass catcher for him. Obviously they got Austin Eckler to hopefully be a receiving threat out of the backfield, but we'll have to see what's going to happen with the rest of the receiving core. Next up, we got keys to the game. Obviously, the Buccaneers, the three simple ones are offense, D-line, and the run game. I obviously talked about this briefly. Run game, they need to be able to control the pace of the game. They're going to need to be able to chew the clock and control the pace of the game in order to set the tempo and be able to go ahead and chew as much clock as they can, because obviously they're going to want to control the ball. They're going to want to be in charge of their own destiny this game. D-line, obviously they're going to want to get to Jaden Daniels. They're going to want to contain him. He is a scrambling quarterback. They are not going to want him to be able to run all over the defense and be able to make plays with his legs as well as his arm. And we have seen that time and time again that our defenses typically struggle against rookie quarterbacks. This has been a little bit better as of recently, especially with Todd. But obviously last year we saw him, especially last year when we saw Todd as the head coach, we got lit up by C.J. Stroud. Hopefully we can be able to contain Jaden Daniels, so that way we can be able to control the game and control it on the defense to get our offense some rest in between the drives. Obviously, a big part of this is going to be the offense as a whole. Obviously, can the offense pick up where they left off last year? Can Baker Mayfield keep his career year going? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a big part of this game is going to be the passing offense as well as the running offense. We are going to be able to need to control the ball and get down the field and put up points, because, points are going to be very important in this game. And obviously, we want to get the year off on the right foot. Then for the Commanders, I've got three simple ones. So defense, Jaden Daniels in the pass game. Obviously their defense last year was not the greatest, especially in terms of getting at the quarterback, like I said previously. So the key to their game is going to be the defense and just trying to be able to contain the Bucs' high-powered offense in order to try to keep themselves in the game. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is going to be a major part of this game, as if they can get him to unlock himself and be able to be that dual-threat QB that they once had in RG3, he could very much take over this game and be an absolute threat to the Buccaneers as a whole. Obviously, pass game, because the Bucs D-line is one of the greatest in the NFL, especially at stopping the run, so they're not going to be able to rely on the run game the entire game. They're going to need to be able to air it out. They're going to be able to need to be going further down the field with the ball. They're not going to be able to just settle for 3-yard runs or 4-yard runs every play. They're going to need to be able to air the ball out, especially on those third and long, second and long situations, to make it third and manageable. That's going to be something they're going to have to be able to do in order to be able to stay in this game. The next up, I've got players to watch. So these are just players that I think could have either a really good game or are going to be very important for the team's success. Obviously for the Buccaneers, Mike Evans, number one receiver, so many straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's going to be a main force on this offense, especially in that receiving game. We are going to need him to be Mike Evans and be able to get us down the field so that we can be able to get in the end zone. Rachaad White, obviously, is going to be a very important part, especially where I have a QB in the run game. We're going to want to control the clock. And Rachaad White is such a good dual threat with the running experience he has and the ability to receive out of the backfield. He is going to be hopefully have a good game to be able to help us control the clock. And then defense, I want to throw a defensive player on here, which is going to be Jordan Whitehead. Obviously, it's going to be his first year back in Tampa, and I would not be too surprised I wouldn't be too surprised if Todd decides to put him in the box a little bit to be rushing the passer as that blitz and safety. So I think he's going to be a key part of this game for the Bucs defense. And then for the Commanders, I got Jaden Daniels, Daron Payne, and Jonathan Allen. Again, Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen, because they're going to need to be able to slow that Bucs O-line and offense down. Those are going to be the main guys to be able to get to it. And obviously Jaden Daniels, as I've said, he's going to need to be the one to be able to control the game on the offense. He's going to be a crucial factor in the Commanders to be able to get down the field to try to be able to beat this Bucs team. Obviously, I think the Bucs have the upper hand here with the amount of star power they have, but a lot of it's gonna come down to Jaden Daniels, and can he be that dual threat guy that the Commanders expect him to be? So the content I've got for today, guys, is I'm going to be streaming the Buccaneers versus the Commanders around 4:20 today, and I'll be doing a breakdown of the game shortly after it. Hopefully, it'll be out before Sunday Night Football. If not, it'll be out after Sunday Night Football. It all depends on the timing of everything. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that noti bell. On the road to 2,000 subscribers, trying to hit that by the end of the year, trying to hit 1,600 by the end of the month. Let's get it, fam, and as always, I will see all you guys later. Stay crazy, fam, and if you guys want to see more like this, make sure to let me know down below, and if you guys have any tips on how to improve it or what you guys would like to see, just let me know. Obviously, going forward, we are going to be trying to do more of the looking at the past week and breaking down some of what they did well, what they didn't do well, and what they can improve on. But anyway, guys, I will see all you guys later. Stay crazy, fam.